Page 18 and 19, Understanding Checks and Balances. Congress checks the court. Supreme Court justices are appointed for life, but they can retire if they wish. The President nominates and the Senate approves justices to the Supreme Court. Once a justice is approved, they could potentially stay in that position for 30, 40, or 50 years, or even longer. With these jobs for life, it might seem that Supreme Court justices have unlimited power, that they can make any decisions that they want on the bench without any consequences. But that isn't the case. The Supreme Court justices are checked by the legislative branch in 4 ways. The first way, number 1, the Senate must approve anyone nominated by the President. Number 2, if Congress disagrees with a ruling of the court, its members can propose an amendment to the Constitution that would overturn that judicial decision. Number 3, Congress can change the number of judges on the Supreme Court. Currently, there are 9, but in the past there have been as few as 5. It takes an act of Congress to make this change. Number 4, Congress has the power to impeach justices and can charge justices, hold trials, and pass judgment. The photograph above shows Neil Gorsuch, to the right, was confirmed as a justice of the Supreme Court on April 7, 2017. He is shown here with President Donald Trump. Page 19, Impeaching Justices. When public officials such as justices are impeached, they are brought in front of both houses of Congress for a formal trial. Then one of 2 things will happen. They will either be acquitted of the charges and remain in office, or be found guilty and removed from office. Samuel Chase is the only Supreme Court justice to have been impeached. The House of Representatives brought charges against this associate justice in 1805. He was accused of making decisions on the bench that were based on his own personal political beliefs, not constitutional law. At the conclusion of his trial, there were not enough votes to convict him. The caption reads, "With his acquittal, Samuel Chase was allowed to stay on the bench until his death in 1811. Fast fact, even though justices have lifetime tenure, the average length of time that they sit on the bench is 16 years. To date, the longest-serving Supreme Court justice was Chief Justice John Marshall. He served for 34 years, 5 months, and 11 days. Page 20 and 21, Presidential Checks. As the head of the executive branch, the President has certain powers to check both the legislative branch and the judicial branch. Checking the legislature. The legislative branch is the only branch that can pass laws. However, the President has some legislative powers too. Bullet point 1. After a bill is passed by both houses of Congress, it is sent on to the President to be signed. The President can refuse to sign the bill and send it back to Congress. The presidential veto is one of the most powerful checks that the President has on the legislative branch. Yet, if Congress can muster enough votes in both houses, a 2/3 majority, the bill can become a law without the President's signature. The President has the power to propose bills to Congress, of course. The legislature still has to vote and pass the bills, but at least the President has some say in what items they voted on. Congress meets only at certain times of the year, but under extraordinary circumstances, the President can call every member of Congress back to Washington, D.C. to attend a special session. However, the President must be careful not to abuse this power. The reason to call Congress back into session had better be a good one. Fast fact. Presidents have called special sessions of Congress just 28 times in the nation's history. The last one was called by Harry Truman in 1948. Page 21, checking the judicial branch. The President is the only person who can nominate federal judges to the lower courts and to the Supreme Court. The President also has the power to pardon individuals who have been convicted of crimes by the courts. The photograph has a caption that reads, Chelsea Manning was convicted of leaking 700,000 documents pertaining to the U.S.-Iraq War. Manning was sentenced to 35 years in prison. Many protested the sentence. In January 2017, President Barack Obama commuted Manning's sentence. Not technically a pardon, the commutation led to Manning's release in May 2017. Replacing the President. The executive branch also has the power to check itself. According to the 25th Amendment to the Constitution, the Vice President and Cabinet can vote to declare the President unfit to fulfill their duties. After they vote, they give a written declaration to Congress, and the Vice President becomes the President. This would happen only in severe circumstances, for example, if the President were gravely ill or injured.